Hey there, it's Trisha, and I want to go over a couple things from Wednesday, November 18th. If you're interested in getting more information about the setups, you can just go to www.easyemintrade.com. And the webinar is this evening at 8 p.m., and we still do have a few spots available. So if that's something that you think you're interested in, we'll be going over all the setups in detail and some results from the Keltner channel for the last 2 months in back testing. So anyway, if it's something you're interested in, just go to the website. And I did want to point out that the videos, I do try to do about 3 a week. They are time consuming, and that's about all I can fit in my schedule right now. But it's not meant to be a trading journal of every trade that you could possibly take. It's just something to help in recognizing the setups as they occur. So when I see something that might interest you or help you, that's when I do it. So here is Wednesday, and this is our 2000 tick chart, or 5100, whichever you're using, depending on your data provider, if they've made their change or not. And obviously you can see what the day looked like. You did have a strong area of support at 1100, and then you had the area above it at about 1109. So basically you had to be able to pull something off within that area, or get above that area or below that area. We were able to take something in the morning yesterday, and we did have this big move down. Just ignore this red line for now. This I drew later in the day as we were waiting for a break of that area. But we did get a break here of the channel, and when we got it though, it was such a big move that it was so far. The move was just too big. I wanted to wait for a pullback. So that's what we did. We waited for a pullback to the channel again, and then we entered in under here, and then we were able to take it down almost to the low of the previous day. I just did not feel comfortable with such a large move down to take it short without having some kind of pullback. So a pullback here to the channel was fine. If you got a pullback to the middle line, that would have been fine. So that's where we entered, was under this bar here. So with the day the way it was, we did spend a lot of time around the 50% retracement area, as you can see here, and our floor trader pivot point, just basically trading on either side of that for quite a while. Now if you wanted to take a range trade, this was at lunch, and anybody willing to do a range trade, you have to decide how you're going to do it. Are you going to do an aggressive entry or a conservative entry? In taking a conservative entry, there's just not a lot of room, obviously, as the channels get smaller, because then you're waiting for close back below that middle line. If you want to take an aggressive entry, you could, here, like where it hit the upper channel, when your indicator starts to roll over from 80, you could take it short, expecting to get down to the lower channel. This you had divergence. You have a higher high here than you had here. Well, here you had a lower high than you had here. So that would lead you to believe that you would get at least a couple bar pullback. So again, it's up to you to decide how much room there is for you to do something like that, and if it's worth your while. This occurred at lunch, and we had drawn this line before lunch based on previous price action of the morning. If you look over here to the left on my 2000 tick chart, you can see that it was an area of resistance earlier in the morning, and then it became an area of support. So we had said if we can get below that 1104 area and something sets up, you could take it. So that's what happened at lunch. You did get a close below that area outside your channel, but when you look down at the very bottom of your screen here, this is not in line yet. This does not get in line until here. So at that point you've moved down quite a bit. So you'll notice that you have a lot of space between you and the lower channel. So I always think if that happens, that it's usually better to wait for the pullback. So you did get a pullback. Pulled back to the middle line, and you could have actually entered in under any one of these bars here, and it would have been good for a point and a half. But definitely I feel if you have a large move down and you wind up with a lot of space here, I think that yeah, the pullback is probably the better way to. And then anybody doing any range trades, again, you'll notice obviously as price continues to be less volatile, your channels get smaller and smaller. So, you know, somebody could take something here when it comes back inside the channel expecting to get to the lower channel. You have to decide if that's enough room for you. But you did have higher high here than here, lower high here than here, so that would lead you to believe that you would get a pullback. Took a while, but you might have gotten a little something out of it. But again, up to you to decide how much is enough. That's not enough for me to mess with, but again, totally up to you. So here we are in this area. Again, the 1104. We were willing to take something if it's set up under this area here. What time was this? This was at 2:53. So we were willing to take something if it closed outside the channel and under this area and everything was in line. Everything was not in line when we got closed outside the channel. Our ADX on our indicator down here was not above 20 and rising at that point. It did not happen until the close of this bar here. So it's a pass. If you put your order in a quarter under this bar, let's say you were willing to take it, it never would have gotten filled anyway. So, and then here you have divergence. You have lower low. Well, here you have a higher low. Again, would lead you to believe that you're going to get a bounce. So anyway, I hope that helps. And I will see many of you this evening. I hope you have a great day.